I got 1,000 stories I can tell you, but 1,000,000 stories I cannot. These are the stories that I can tell you, from the people that made it out. Real stories, real people, real talk, concrete conversation. Kelli, I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you for having me.
You're very, very welcome. Very welcome. You have a unique, very much so story. I love the beginning. I love the middle, and I love the end. I think it's, very beautiful. Exactly what you're doing. I even think it's beautiful for when you came from, because it makes us into the people we are. I think that's remarkable. So let's start from the actual beginning, as much as you possibly would like to indulge in.
Sure.
Growing up, childhood, what was it like exactly?
My childhood was beautiful, and it was tumultuous at the same time.
Yeah.
My parents were absolutely amazing and incredible.
Yeah.
And their relationship just wasn't healthy.
I understand.
And so I grew up watching and listening to violence. I grew up in a very violent home, and at the same time, there was a lot of love there.
Yeah.
So my parents, they didn't get along. It didn't work out, but they stayed together for so long. And so
that's
growing
that old
up,
school shit.
That's the old school shit, right?
It is.
It was like, we're going to hold on, we're going to do this, make this work.
There
but
wasn't
it just
no
wasn't
divorce.
working.
Yeah, no, I understand.
It just wasn't working. And
Yeah.
so, I was having to call the police. My brother was calling the police. We were, it was constantly that tension in the home, where there was fear and all this. And, growing up that way, you think it's normal.
You do.
It doesn't feel good.
You do.
But it becomes your normal, right? It's normal for you. So beginning off like that was just kind of my first introduction into relationships.
Yeah.
And so it taught me a lot of things that I didn't realize I was learning along the way.
That would go further down as you became your own person. Yeah.
Exactly.
So did your parents actually divorce?
They were never married.
They was never married.
They were together 20 plus years.
Wow.
And were never married. So they were in it. They were committed. We're here.
True.
But there was a lot of pain.
Yeah.
A lot of pain.
And you've seen a lot of situations too. Exactly.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you indulge on maybe a situation that, speaks a little bit volume to yourself when you go back into them times?
Yes, absolutely. So I remember my very first memory of things being violent was hearing the bathroom. I was laying down in my bed. And my brother and I shared a room. And so, he's laying down asleep, and I couldn't sleep. For whatever reason, I was just up. And I remember hearing the bathtub, water running. And then I hear my dad hollering. I hear this, this loud noise and everything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the water stopped, and I'm hearing splashing outside my door.
Yeah.
And I realized what had happened was he was putting a bucket behind the door so that we couldn't open the door and get out.
Wow.
So he was fighting my mom.
Wow.
But we couldn't get out to do anything or see it,
True.
And just that violent thought so early in the morning out of nowhere. It's dark, right? And, it's quiet, and all of a sudden you hear this loud noise. And then you realize that loud noise is violence, someone hurting your mother, and you can't do anything.
Nothing at all. How old were you at the time?
Oh, gosh, I wasn't even in elementary school yet.
Wow.
It was before I was in elementary school.
And this continued all until you was teenage years and stuff like that?
Oh, my gosh, yes, until 16, 17,
Did any of your friends know the situation, or was it kind of hush-hush all through the family?
Oh, it was always hush-hush with my friends. I don't think my friends ever knew anything about it until
Really?
I started talking about it, looking back on it. But going through it, nobody really knew. I know family members knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But as far as my friends, people at school, not so much.
And how much so did these acts take place throughout
my childhood?
Yeah, throughout the week. I mean, was it an everyday thing? Was it an every weekly thing? Or was it just on eggshell type of thing?
It was eggshell. You never knew.
Yeah.
It was like, it's that experience of laying in the bed and it's quiet and everything is silent and peaceful and you're sleeping, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, you hear the loudest noise you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah.
And it jars you out of your sleep.
True.
And you never know. Like, this week could be fine. This month could be great.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom.
It just goes down.
It just goes down, and in a big way.
Wow.
And so you're never really prepared, and you never really know how you're going to respond or what you're going to have to do.
True.
But then you let your guard down because it's been quiet for a couple of weeks. It's been quiet for a month or two. So, it's cool.
Yeah.
And then, no, it's not.
Yeah.
So
was it a situation where you almost felt like you just couldn't wait to get out the house?
Oh, God.
And be on your own to a situation to deal with that?
Yes.
Now, did that situation from you like wanting to get out the house, wanting to basically get away from that situation that's been happening throughout most of your childhood life? Did that rush you into maybe a man's arms to get out in that situation?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, the first thing was kind of my own rebellion. I just want to get out and do my own thing. Just be me, just have fun, just hang out with my friends. But the longer things went on and the worse things got, I needed comfort.
Yeah.
And so, like you're saying, that comfort came from my first boyfriend. And it was such a horrible situation because, you know, girls find their daddies.
Yes, they do.
They find their daddies.
The statistics, I feel, is a higher rate of the parents that you are to your child. 9 times out of 10, they'll accept that child. They'll accept that parent type of, you know, vibe because they're used to it because it's all it's all they know.
Absolutely.
So the boyfriend or a man that you went with after the whole situation, he got to be abusive as well?
Oh, he was abusive from the beginning.
Really?
First, it was emotionally, right? So it's the wooing you and drawing you in, right?
The
and
mental side of it.
Right, making you feel like everything is fine. But then it was just taking you down a peg.
Yeah.
You know, every other day, every week, you know, something else that you're not good enough or you should or you need to, those things. Wearing down on you little by little. Then all of a sudden it's control.
True.
And then it's isolating. And then it's abuse.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of those levels, little by little things happening that you don't really realize, like the frog in the pot, right?
Yeah.
You know, you get in and it's cool and it starts heating up little by little so you don't notice it until you're boiling and it's too late.
Now, from being in the past situation that you was in as far as how you was raised, you basically, and knowing that your parents stood together even through these times, you kind of took on that level as well.
Absolutely.
So how long was you in the situation until you felt like, you know what, this is a little bit?
It was until I had my son.
Yeah.
It was until I had my son. I think the moment that I realized that it was time to go was I was standing in the kitchen of my grandmother's house.
Yeah.
And I was holding my newborn son in my hand. And his father took his hand and he clawed my face while I was holding my son. And that second, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can't, because it was always, I mean, even for my mother and for myself, it was, you're not just going to hit me.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do that. It's going to be tit for tat. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
So it was like, okay, but I can't respond because I'm holding my son now.
Yeah.
And the gravity of that hit me like, whoa, he's learning this.
Yeah.
I could have dropped him.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
He could have got him. And so the gravity of that was, okay, you're either going to get out.
Yeah.
Or you're going to give this to your son. You're going to pass this on to him.
Very true.
And so at that moment, it was like, okay, it's time to go.
So that was the moment that you knew
that was the moment I knew this was it.
And you did this for your child, obviously.
I did it for my child, and I'll never forget it. And I don't know if people will believe me, and I don't care.
Yeah.
But the truth is, after he finally left my grandmother's house, I ran up the stairs, and I laid in my bed, and I cried. And my son was crying, so I started nursing him.
Yeah.
And his little hand came around my side and he rubbed my back.
Holding you.
He was like comforting me.
Yeah.
And even the thought of that now makes me want to cry because he knew.
Yeah.
He knew, he felt how sad I was.
Oh, yeah. There's energy. He feels your
energy.
Babies, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know? So it was like, oh my God, this is my newborn child trying to comfort me from what just happened.
Yeah.
I can never let this go on anymore.
Yeah.
So that was that moment that I knew this is it.
So when you stepped out, was there a point in time where you kind of even, I mean, in a sense, some people, they kind of miss their attackers in a sense from time to time because that's all you pretty much know.
That's all you know.
You know? How hard was it for you to get into something else as far as a relationship from being where you've been and kind of moving on? Did it take time? I mean, I know there always should be a healing process, but how long until you was ready to, you know, possibly move on with something else as far as dating and stuff like that after the situation?
As far as dating was concerned, it really didn't take long. And the reason I'll say that is because I just wanted relief.
Free.
I just wanted to be free.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I wanted a relationship so much. It was just that now I want to be me. I've never been in control of my life.
True.
I have never been able to make my own decisions without someone else trying to influence me.
Yeah.
Or tell me what to do.
Your
so
family,
it was like,
your man.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I just want to find out who Kelli is.
Yeah.
You know, but number one was raising my kid.
Definitely.
You know, I want him to be a good person. I want him to be happy and healthy.
Definitely.
So, you know, it was school and it was him. And like, okay, what do I like? Where do I want to live? What does this look like?
Yeah.
You know? So it was a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I think I was really preparing myself to learn what a healthy relationship was.
True.
And so that was the beginning of that. That's kind of where that started. It wasn't long after that to be happy without him in my life.
True. So in your own opinion, what do you feel a healthy relationship is?
Oh, that's the $1 million question.
We can make $1 million right
now. Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, a healthy relationship is two people who are healed or healing and know who and what they are. Yeah. Right? Like,
yeah, definitely.
I need to know what my mission from God is.
True.
And you need to know what your mission from God is. And then if they align, let's go.
Yeah.
But I have to be authentically me.
Yeah.
And you have to be authentically you. And I think that's what people have a lot of problems with, because we want to pack our issues away in the closet.
Yeah.
And we want to kind of hide who we really are.
True.
We don't want each other to know how we tick.
People ain't open as much.
Oh.
They're not. Because you know what? 9 times out of 10, they're afraid to show the real side of them.
Exactly.
Because they're afraid of rejection, being mistreated or looked down upon because of who they truly are. But in reality, I feel like showing people who you truly are is the best vice you could possibly do, because it can show you and others, is this somebody I can date, be in a relationship with, a friendship with, or somebody I shouldn't fuck with at all? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. We talk about fear of rejection. That shit is deep. Listen, this is what I found out after I left that terrible toxic relationship. My mother told me maybe about a year after it was over that she took some time. I think it was about 6 months that she was pregnant with me before she told my father she was pregnant with me.
Wow.
Because she was afraid of what he would do and how he would respond.
Yeah.
And I can't remember at what point my father was in prison, if she was pregnant with me when he was in prison or if he had already come out.
Yeah.
But 6 months that she waited with me stewing in that fear, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm being...
that energy.
I'm in that energy. Yeah. As a baby, not even born yet, I'm feeling that fear of rejection. And that led me to 90% of the bad, choices I made in my life, that fear of rejection.
True.
And now it's like, I put everything on the table now. It's like, you like it or you don't.
As you should.
You know what I mean?
As you should.
It makes you into the person you're supposed to be, and you have to be introduced to that person because, when we hit air, we're always looking for something to fill us.
True.
Right? But when we realize who we are, it's like, no, I got everything in
me. Already.
God already loaded me with everything I need.
And see, I think that's the most important thing. I feel like being a complete person is to be healed, obviously, and to know that, you don't really need anybody to fulfill you.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. You should already be fulfilled yourself.
Right.
And if anybody else that comes along that can upgrade that situation, so be it. But you should be good yourself by yourself.
Right. Everybody else is an accessory, not a necessity.
That's sorry.
Right?
One time.
Right?
That's what's up. No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Facts.
I definitely agree with you.
That's facts.
So after the situation, domestic violence, dealing what you had to deal with the husband, did you ever get remarried? How did that go into the situation? Did you fall back in the same situation, or was it pretty much, whatever it meant to be? You know what I'm saying? If you could indulge.
Oh, absolutely. So that first relationship, that was my son's father. We were never married. Thank you, God.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But I did later on. I met my ex-husband, and I went into that relationship thinking, oh, this is my knight in shining armor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is the savior, right?
Yeah.
And so that was my first mistake, because number one, it's too much pressure on any other human.
True.
Because we can't fix other humans.
Very true.
Right? And we can't complete them.
Either.
We can't change them.
That's real.
We can't complete them.
That's
we can't
real.
fix them. And so I put him on a pedestal. And in the beginning, I felt as though it was absolutely necessary. It's the way it should be, because this is somebody who is investing in me emotionally.
Yeah.
This is somebody who is making me feel comfort.
And it was probably different from what you experienced before in your whole life.
It was very different.
Yeah.
It was very different. There were so many things that I thought I wanted that he brought to the table.
He gave you what you really wanted,
right.
in a sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, I told myself, well, this got to be it, because it's different, so it must be better.
True.
Right?
True.
But in all actuality and in truth, it was more diabolical, because it was, for me, it was that little bit of arsenic every day.
Yeah.
Versus, like, you can tell this is something that's bad for you.
Yeah.
It's just every day
it's like
a
killing
little bit
you slowly.
Very slowly.
Yeah.
Very methodically.
Yeah.
Right? And so this is a person who's read The Art of War multiple times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, when you get somebody in here, you've got them.
Forever.
Right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it was, we grew up together.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because I was only 20 something. You know, I was in my early 20s and, you know, I'm never going to get hurt again. Nobody's ever going to make me feel this way again. And, you know, you're checking all the boxes. But here I am now realizing what you're doing is so covert.
True.
And so quiet and so peaceful.
Yeah.
That I'm not paying attention until I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I am paying attention, it's like, oh, no, we don't do this.
Yeah.
Right. And so I began to grow and realize what it took to be healthy. And the healthier I became, the more I realized, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
This is not adding up. The math ain't mathing. Right. Like I'm expecting A and B from you.
Yeah.
You're giving me C and D and telling me that I'm being ungrateful.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody knows how they need to be loved, but we don't always know. They should. Everybody should know how we need to be loved. Yeah. We don't always know what that looks like.
True.
Right? Because sometimes you need somebody to tell you no.
Especially when you come from a place where you ain't never really felt that before or seen that before.
Right.
See, we can watch movies and this and that, but we know it's a movie.
Right.
When you see something in real life, it becomes more, you know, concrete to you. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended, but it's like that.
Right.
So it's like when people, you know, if they ain't never seen it before, it's hard for them to believe it.
Right.
You know, it really is.
And for me, I was looking for someone who would tell me no at all the right times. And what I mean by that is
you
like...
want a little control.
You know, well, see, and here's the thing. It's like I've seen so many unhealthy relationships.
Yeah.
And lived through and experienced so many unhealthy relationships that it's like, okay, what does it mean to have those loving boundaries? What does it mean for somebody to say, let's do this, or I got you, or I'm protecting you? Yeah. You know, no can be a very healthy and loving thing because it's setting that boundary. When you tell your child no to running into the street or sticking their finger in the electric,
well,
you know.
It's a learning lesson.
It's a learning lesson, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But that's saying I'm guarding you. I'm protecting you. You're valuable to me. And so for me, this relationship was everything but that. It was all of the right yeses and all of the right nos, where it would put me in a position where I would always need you forever. And you could control me.
And kind of dormant.
And you could, it was really covert. Yeah. So when I started to get like, okay, I'm being gaslit. Yeah. I'm being manipulated. Yeah. I am totally being controlled in the sweetest and most calm and charming way. Yeah. And it's like, oh,
did you lose yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
In that situation?
Let me tell you, it's hilarious. For years, everything I owned that I wore was black, brown, or white.
Nice. Yeah.
Everything was muted. Yeah. Everything. I
no
myself
color.
was no color. Yeah. Right. No life. And I laid in my bed one day and I'm like, what is it that's bothering me so damn bad? Yeah. And it was a slow progression because I realized one day he would go to work and I would paint the bedroom. Yeah. He would go to work and the next day I'd paint the bathroom. Yeah. And then the next day I'd paint the living room. Like I was always putting color in my house. Color. Yeah. I needed
you didn't
that.
have it emotionally.
I didn't have it emotionally. Yeah. And I woke up and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Yeah, yeah, I'm like, red. My favorite color has been red all my life. I own nothing red. Yeah. And I was like, why?
So
why am I neglecting me?
When did the change happen? Like when did exactly you were like, this is it? And how did it happen? If you can indulge. If you can remember the moment, because like you said before, these little moments that happen in our lives or whatnot, sometimes they can really transform us when they mean something to us. Like you said, with your child in the kitchen with the man, and you know what I'm saying? Like that changed a lot. Yeah. What was this change for this situation?
The change for this situation was when I had gotten into this accident. Yeah. And it was a crazy accident. Somebody was about to T-bone me at the light right next door to the police station. So I had to jump out of my lane and come into oncoming traffic. Yeah. And there was a truck coming at me. So I had to jump a lane again. And I ended up jumping the curb and running into a telephone pole. Wow. Bent my car around a telephone pole, right? So could have lost my life. It was really bad. Yeah. And I get home. And my car is wrecked. It's just, it's a whole mess. Yeah. Fast forward, I don't know how many months. And I'm sitting on crates in the car because the seat is messed up. And I'm holding onto the steering wheel to stay sturdy. And I'm driving like this. And I'm thinking to myself, he's a mechanic. What is this, right? And it wasn't that moment. It was the moment that I said, my car has been broken for X amount of months. It's like, oh, you're just ranting now.
Did he mention anything about the accident? Obviously, that's kind of... It's like he didn't care about the situation?
We'll get it fixed. Or you won't let me get it fixed. I tried, but you wouldn't let me. And it's like...
That was your exit point, pretty much?
That was it. Yeah. I'm like, because this is not just about me.
Very true.
Right?
Very true.
I'm driving your kids.
True.
And if something happens to me,
yeah. What
right?
about the kids? Yeah.
What about
no,
the
definitely.
kids?
No, definitely.
But there was that element of, if I keep you in this position, I'll keep you, right? And so that was that toxic moment that I realized this is worse than that overt. If I know you're going to hit me, I'm going to be hit. But if I don't know that you're putting this poison in my food every day, and you're bringing me this beautiful plate,
you don't know how to protect yourself,
right? You know how to protect
or defend yourself in a sense,
exactly. So that's what it was. That was that moment
when you dipped and you was free. What was the feeling? Where are you at?
Absolute terror and elation at the same time.
Yeah, excitement.
Yes, terrified because, oh my God, like I'm in thousands of dollars of debt. I am on the verge of bankruptcy and eviction. I don't have a dime to my name, and every dollar that comes in, I got to go make it.
Yeah. And what was the thing that kept you going during that time? Because obviously, if we can, pinpoint from the past conversation we had, a lot of this traumatic situation started from childhood, and then it grew into early young womanhood, now into a womanhood, and you're getting the same thing. So basically, you're starting from scratch.
Absolutely.
All over again.
All over again. Yeah. Starting from zero. Yeah. But God kept me, and every time I woke up and walked into my daughter's rooms, it was like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. We became this team. Like, okay, what do you want to see in your room? What color you want? Like, let's go. Yeah. Right? Because for me, it was like, I have the most incredible family on the planet. Like, I could call right now and get anything I need emotionally, physically, financially, only because we have been grounded in God, in Christ from the beginning. That was number one. Yeah. That 1 through 1,000. Definitely. That's what it was. Definitely. And so, and my family is very matriarchal, right? My grandmother's 95.
She's I know that's
95.
Great. Man, God bless.
Yeah, thank you.
Shout out to Grandma.
Shout out Grandma. I love you. Dorothy Odom, you're everything. But she ingrained that in all of her children.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, even though I lived this tumultuous life, I could make a phone call and be like, yo, this is what it is. And that's why I never did that, because I knew if they would send the cavalry in, they would come. And if I wasn't ready to go, don't call. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
But it was that moment. It was like, okay, it's time to go. And they were like, what you want? What you need? You know what I'm saying? And so I was covered. God covered me through them, Yeah. And so I think that was the biggest thing, looking in my daughter's eyes and hearing my mom's voice and hearing my grandmother's voice. Yeah. And, what I'm saying? And even my dad, throughout, this is what's so crazy, right? Throughout this whole situation, mom and dad are calling each other and talking to each other and like, what does she need? Okay, you pay for this, you do that.
They were on it.
Man, they were on it. Like, to this day, if I call my mom, she's like, yeah, your dad told me about it. I was like, oh.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and so it's such a story of healing because they've had this traumatic experience, right? Like, it was hell for them and we went through hell.
And they knew it too.
And they knew it.
And it seems like for in a sense, they're kind of paying back for it in their own little way.
It's a redemption story.
Exactly.
Because if I call my mom right now, she don't have it. I'm going to call your dad. Let me call you back. Yeah. And they got me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
The beautiful thing about this situation that I would say is the fact from where you came from the traumatic situations you had to see and endure as a child, and especially as a young woman, to endure that just to go back into another situation.
Yeah.
Where it was equally toxic mentally, which mentally and physically can ruin you the same.
Absolutely.
But then you get into a situation where you want to give back and help other mothers.
Yes.
And other people in the world and help them with their children as well.
Yes.
So let me know how that journey started for you, you know what I'm saying, for the whole situation.
Absolutely. So I became a doula. Yeah. And being a doula, it was something that God had for me from the beginning. I didn't know it.
Yeah.
Even as a little girl, I would always crave going to see my little cousins, Ryan and Rodney and Eric and all them, because they were little, like, Daddy, take me to hold Ryan. I would just want to go to my cousin's house just to hold the baby. Fast forward, I'm in high school and my friend gets pregnant and I skip school to go to her ultrasound. Shout out to Alicia Johnson. What's up, baby?
Holla.
And I got caught crossing the street.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
going, I got caught. It happens. But so my son was born. And he was in the NICU for a week. He was born purple.
Yeah.
They treated me so bad. They treated him so bad. He was in the NICU for a week. And I thought he was going to die. And nobody in that room would tell me what was happening or why. Yeah. To this day, nobody answered my questions. They're sewing me up and I'm saying, this hurts. I feel it. You're hurting me. Yeah. They didn't open their mouths. They whisked my son away and I didn't see him for 6 hours and nobody told me why.
It was almost like you're in a torture chamber in a sense.
It was torture.
At the actual hospital.
At the hospital. Yeah. So fast forward that I get married and I'm pregnant again. I have my daughter. And it was better because I was going to advocate for myself. With my son, I read all the books.
Yeah, of course.
Your first ready. Yeah. All the classes, all the books and everything.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But it still didn't help when I was in a racist hospital with racist nurses and doctors, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward, I'm having my daughter and then my husband's there. So it's like, I have a husband now and I've read more of the books and I'm stronger now. I'm older now. It's going to be better. And it was a little better because I asked more questions, but it still wasn't what I needed it to be. Fast forward and my third child is born. And, let me back up a little bit. I'm big and pregnant. I got this watermelon. I'm walking like this, And this lovely lady, Deborah Allen, walks up to me after church. She's like, so I see you're due pretty soon. And I was wondering if I could be your doula. I'm like, you could be my doula if you tell me what that is. And she says, it's a birth coach, somebody who walks through your pregnancy with you and is there with you when the baby is born. Yeah, dig it. Let's go. Right? Yeah. So she did, and my child was born, and I laughed hysterically. Mm-hmm. I had so much overwhelming joy.
It was more comfortable for you.
Oh, I didn't even know that there weren't any meds in my IV. I was so comfortable that they were like, okay, you go get out of the tub now, let's go and push.
And this came from the doula performing what she's supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
As a birth mother. Is that what they call them?
She got in here.
Yeah.
She got in here and she watched me. You know what I'm saying? She paced with me.
Yeah.
She taught me things. She rubbed my back and all this. She had me so relaxed.
And especially during them times too, you know what I'm saying? Like it's good to have somebody on your side, that's comfortable enough, that's comfortable as far as through this situation because they've been through it before.
Right.
So was that the point in time where you felt like this is something that I want to do?
This is what's so crazy. I'm at home, I think postpartum, like 2 weeks, and she calls me. She's like, how you doing? How you feeling? Yeah. I feel great. I'm nursing my baby. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
She's, I was feeling like this is something you want to do. I'm like, hell yeah. This is exactly what I want to do.
Definitely.
And so she taught me how to get started. And so, I always have to tell the story because my youngest daughter, she goes, Mom, every time you tell the story, I want a percentage. I want 2% every time you tell about, you became a doula because I'm the reason. I'm like, okay, Abigail. So Abigail, I owe you some money.
That's what's up.
That's how I got started. So it's been almost 16 years now that I've been doing this.
And how many births have you been a part of and went forth with?
Hundreds. Yes.
Wow.
Starting in.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So coming from where you came from, coming from the abuse, the domestic violence, the bullshit that you had to endure in your lifetime, you still kept a great enough heart as a female, as a woman, as a human being to want to help others into this situation with their children and to give them knowledge and to give them guidance.
It gave me life.
That's amazing.
For part of my life, it was how I was surviving.
Yeah.
It really was.
Well, helping others, obviously, making somebody smile makes you smile at the end. Yeah,
yes,
no, definitely.
Absolutely.
So it was helping you through the process of what you was going through as well.
It helped me heal.
Yeah.
It helped me heal because when you're there and you're in this moment where somebody is allowing you to be there when their child goes.
That's sacred.
Yeah, it's sacred. Yeah. From eternity to time. Like this person is crossing over from heaven to earth and you get to be there when that soul hits the room. Yeah. When that soul hits the atmosphere. Yeah. Are you kidding me? It's amazing.
Yeah.
It was such an honor.
Do you still keep in touch with some of these ladies that you've...
Yes.
Yeah, that's what's... It's like a sisterhood almost, right?
Oh, you become so close.
And has it been like multiple births with the same people?
Oh, yes.
Like they would hit you and once you perform what you perform for them. Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, and families. Like there's a family I love so much. And, I did one cousin's birth. She was like, oh, okay, now you got to do my cousin. So it's like... Yeah. They're like, you belong to us now. I'm like, you know what? I love it. Let's go.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful feeling.
Now that's truly remarkable. I think that's truly remarkable. And I love the fact that you didn't change your person. I think a lot of times in life, people, they get beat down and beat down and beat down, and life has a way to beat us all down eventually. But getting up from that and still performing as a great person on this earth to want to help others, it's truly magical.
Thank you.
And I feel like that really needs to be celebrated.
Thank you.
Like truly, because people don't statistically, they don't do that. You know what I'm saying? They come from a certain area, a certain environment, a certain upbringing, and they're only stuck in that situation. You've went and surpassed everything that's went and happened with your upbringing and everything else. Like
God did it.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
So with that being said, right now as we speak, you have a situation that's going on with people down in Uganda, Africa.
I do.
And you're starting your own birthing center.
I am.
In Africa.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
And you went down there recently, right?
I did. And you're the first person I'm going public with this.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Got a little exclusive. That's what's up.
Yes,
That's
it's exclusive. So my good friend, she's my sister now, Melise.
Yeah.
I love you, Melise.
Yeah.
So excited. Yeah. She invited me to come along with her to Uganda.
That's amazing.
Because she is doing amazing things. Yeah. She has been supporting children and sending them to school for years through her organization, Love Wins Now. And so what's so beautiful about it is that she would, first of all, invite me. I'm like, wow, does she even know me? Does she know what she's getting into? Like, yeah. I laugh about it. But we went down there to meet the kids and see what's going on with the orphanage and what's going on with their schools and get involved.
It's amazing.
And I hit the ground thinking to myself, whoa, this is this red earth belongs to me. My feet belong on this earth. This feels so good.
It's a motherland.
Yeah. And so I thought to myself, this is where I want to be. I have to come back. I have to do this. And I want to serve women. I got to be around women. I got to be around my sisters. Yeah. It's like, this is where it has to be. I want to start here.
That's great.
So thank you, Melise. It's been beautiful. It's been a wonderful thing. I feel like we share so much with each other here, right? In the U.S. We don't realize how blessed we are.
Very true.
We have no idea.
Extremely true.
How blessed we are.
From you being down there, what's the situation that you've seen that happens with the people that's down there, especially in the orphanage? Like, what are the lack of resources that they have that we take for granted every day in the U.S.? Yeah.
We take for granted running water.
Yeah.
We take for granted, our kids going to school.
Yeah.
There are so many, 50% of the children in the areas that I went into don't go to school.
Yeah.
And so you just imagine to yourself, you being that parent and watching other children go off to school and your child is there.
Yeah.
And your child is working or doing, you're doing all these different things just to survive.
Yeah.
And we complain about the school lunches, which we should because they're horrible. But
I agree.
But you know what I'm saying? Like putting things into perspective.
Levels. Definitely.
There's levels,
definitely.
right?
No, definitely.
And we have so much privilege that we don't really know about, you know. And these kids are some of the kids that are actually going to schools, they're boarding, they're living there, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like then there's this part of you where your child is off, going every day.
True.
Boarding and being able to talk to them every day and see them and watching them grow. It's different.
Yeah.
So we have privilege we don't understand.
Very true.
We have blessings we don't understand and don't really appreciate.
Yeah.
Being there taught me so much about the person I am and how I need to come up.
Yeah. And the most remarkable thing I would have to say from seeing situations down there is these children, they smile. And they smile so big. Because they don't know, that's all they know, obviously. And they're still children. So
Absolutely.
When they see certain things or they still find joy because they're children and you can see that in their faces, their smiles and stuff. And
so much joy.
That's touched me tremendously. So like I said to you before we did this, you know what I'm saying? Definitely get in touch with people that you're involved with because I would definitely like to set a donation for them to bring them Christmas presents or anything that they do need.
Absolutely.
It'd be simple as some cakes for them, you know what I'm saying? However, whatever, because at the end of the day, as us as human beings, we're supposed to do that.
Absolutely.
What you're doing as a human being is remarkable.
Thank you.
Not only are you doing this situation in the States by helping mothers and helping birth these children the right way, in my opinion, just my opinion, you're helping internationally as well with these kids out in Africa, which I think is just remarkable. So that definitely needs to be celebrated 100%.
Thank you so much.
And coming from where you came from and doing what you're doing, from not just in the States, but, around the world. Unbelievable.
Thank you so much.
Unbelievable. So, you're definitely winning statistically in every shape, or form. You really are. So, I definitely want to applaud you on what you're doing. But when you was in Africa, what was the main thing that stood out to you? What was the main thing that touched you the most, where you knew that this is the place, this is the calling, this is what is going to happen?
It was the joy.
Yeah.
Listen, everywhere that I went, on the back of the buses, on billboards, on signs, God was everywhere. God was everywhere. They call you sister.
Yeah.
And everywhere you look, there was a cross, there was Jesus, there was Christ heals everywhere. And the people have joy. It's so much that we're missing here. Singing, dancing, smiling. The beautiful ladies at the hotel that we stayed at, Nexus Resorts, I love you all. They were so good to us. They were so loving.
Yeah.
This amazing lady, the manager, the lady, she actually knit us some beautiful headbands with the flag of Uganda on it. The night before we left.
Nice.
It's that they know love, they know joy,
respect,
and they give it so freely. And here we are privileged, and we can't even smile at people.
Even open a door for somebody.
Even open the door for somebody. But this lady crocheted two, headbands for us and just met us. It's like, what kind of love do we have? Like, I want to see your love walk.
True.
We have this and we have that and we're blessed.
Yeah.
But what are you doing for the next person?
Exactly.
And it touched my heart. Like, yo, you live in this place where it's hard every day, but you're showing me love?
True.
I have no choice but to pass that on.
As you should.
Right?
As you should.
So it's
what
such
people
a God
don't realize
thing.
is we're all human at the end of the day.
Yep.
No matter if we're brown, yellow, green, it doesn't matter. We're all human at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And if we have the opportunity to help somebody in any shape or form, we should be able to do that.
Absolutely.
No matter what. Because all that is just a recycling bin of greatness that can happen to the next person. I've done things for people in the past and they'd ask me, how can I repay you? What can I do to pay you back? And I tell them one thing and one thing only. Do it for the next person. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Do it for the next person.
Yep.
You might find somebody that was in your position that you're in now. Help them and keep it rolling. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, that's all we got is people. Because all this, diamonds and money and cars and houses, all this shit, we can't take none of this shit with us.
Nope.
None of this shit with us.
None of it.
Can't. So all we have is legacy of what we've done for God's children and what we can continue to do for God's children from the seeds that we plant in other people.
Absolutely.
So what you're doing is amazing, man.
Thank you
I mean
so
that.
much.
That shit is crazy dope to me.
I appreciate
it.
That.
It is. And do you plan on going back? And what's the next step for you to do exactly what you got going on?
Absolutely. So the moment that I touched ground, I was like, okay, this feeling is amazing. You can feel the prayers in the atmosphere when you go. You can be in a certain place and you can feel like there's love here in this atmosphere. Yeah, I'm like, we're going back next year.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
And every year following, that's the plan, is to go back every single year to love on these kids, watch these kids grow,
and to train other
professionals.
Yeah,
yes.
to do the job that you're doing here.
Absolutely.
So not only are you participating in situations there to help a mother in a different area, you're actually training other mothers as well.
Absolutely.
To perform the same acts that you do.
To make a workforce, to pass on that love, and to really change how we look at birth. Yeah. Right? Birth is beautiful.
Yeah.
Right?
And what's the statistics? Give me the statistics of U.S. non-medulla birthings for people that can understand.
I'll give you this statistic.
Of why you do. Yeah.
I'll give you this one. Black women are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth than white women.
Wow.
Black babies are 3 times more likely to die than white babies.
Yeah.
And what we know for a fact, proven by data, is that it's because of structural racism.
Yeah.
And so when you look at that, when you have an advocate there with you, like a doula, when you're working with somebody that can watch you and watch what's going on and record that and know what's going on and give you the education and give you the advocacy, it changes these things.
It does.
Right? And so education, but not just that, but having eyes in the room. That was one thing that COVID did when we stripped moms from having somebody with them. Now you're in fear and you're in pain and people can influence you.
Very much.
But when you take the fear away, right, and you find out what the purpose for the pain is, it changes things and you'll make those right decisions.
And by having a medulla there can obviously make you a lot more comfortable, like we said before, during these situations, and also give these other people that are in the hospitals almost like on notice.
Right. Doulas, and this
like,
is the thing.
Don't fuck around.
Right. When a doula walks in,
here.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Okay,
when a doula walks in, love walks in.
Exactly.
That's somebody who's, hey, listen, I'm here to do whatever it is you need me to do, but I'm also your eyes.
It's amazing.
Right?
It's amazing.
And so I love it. It's been a blessing. God healed me through it.
Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah.
You know, he used it to kind of fix things that were broken in me and help me to pass it on. So I love
others.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
So literally through this whole process of where you're at now, if you could give a young mother that's thinking about being pregnant or possibly in the stages of pregnancy, what advice would you give a young woman or any woman at that during this time of what she's going through?
Absolutely. So number one, know yourself.
Yeah.
Know who you are and what you need. Yeah. Right? Because when you go through the labor process, all the hidden pain is going to come out.
Yeah.
All those things that you kept quiet and kept secret are going to come out during the process of birth. Mm-hmm. So know and love God. Know and love yourself. Mm-hmm. Know who your support system is. Know who those people are that will love you and embrace you when you're having a bad day, when you're in pain, when something is wrong. Mm-hmm. Have your support system ready for you before you go in. So when you come out of the hospital, you know what you're coming home to.
True.
Right? Prepare your mind with education. Find a doula.
Yeah.
Find a midwife.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go with an OBGYN, talk to people.
Yeah.
Talk to your community. This is the problem, is that we don't communicate with people. We don't find out. What do you think about this doctor? Because there's beautiful, wonderful doctors out there. You know, we just don't know who they are. We don't talk to each other about our experiences. True. So know who you are.
Educate yourself.
Educate yourself.
Yeah.
Talk to your sisters. Yeah. Talk to your cousins, right? But then talk to your community and say, go on Facebook, who had this doctor? What did you think?
Yeah.
Open your mouth, open your heart, and look for the right people.
You think with this important process that's taking place during, being pregnant for a female, that these things should already be spoken in a sense, but they're not. And I think, in my opinion, from doing research myself, that a doula is definitely needed in a sense.
Absolutely.
Because not just of, professionally what they know, but the comfort level.
That's
to
what
know
it
this is. This is what you're supposed to be feeling, to give you like an ally.
That's right.
During this process, through any situation, the hospitals, the healing, because you don't just give the birth, you check in.
Absolutely.
Even afterwards to see how things is rocking.
Because that's what
hospitals
happens.
Don't do that.
Absolutely
Nurses
not.
don't do that.
Right.
So what's the after effects of what a doula does to basically make sure everything's good?
Bless you for that question.
I got you.
Bless you for that question.
I got you. You're
right?
welcome. You're welcome.
That's okay. That just levels the love, right? So this is the thing. That's when everything goes down. Like, we lose people in birth. We lose babies in birth, but we also lose so many people unnecessarily postpartum. Definitely. Here's what it is. When a woman says that she's in pain, and someone, either a medical professional or not, even a family member, is like, oh, well, that's normal. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We don't know normal. Ask the questions.
True.
And check it out. What
True.
a postpartum doula is going to do is going to make sure, okay, how is breastfeeding going?
Yeah.
Right? How is your sleep going? How are you eating?
Yeah.
If I come to your house and your house is spick and span, clean and tidy, and you're the only one there, we got a problem.
True.
Because you're supposed to be resting.
Damn right.
You're supposed to put your feet up and be on your throne, be in your bed, and relaxing.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want you making everything perfect. It should have been done before you got home.
True.
Where's your support system?
True.
Right?
True.
And I'm going to look you in your eyes. Okay, you look tired.
Yeah.
You go lay down, give me the baby. You rest, you sleep.
Yeah.
You haven't eaten.
Yeah.
I can tell, right? Your doula knows the mood you're in. Your doula knows that when that phone rings and it's that person, that's going to like strike up some feelings in you.
Yeah.
And it's going to stress you out.
Yeah.
Right? Your doula knows that maybe that mother-in-law is not the best one to come over right now.
Yeah,
right? And it's going to be like, oh, well, she's tired right now.
Yeah.
And just being somebody to say, let's take a break.
Like a sister.
Like a sister.
Like a sister.
Like a sister.
Yeah.
And so that energy being around you to notice those things that a lot of people don't notice or pay attention to is key.
And because this, I believe, in my opinion, it can, but I'm not sure. So I'd like to ask you, in them cases of the after effects of a doula coming in to help him during the process when the child is actually born, could the doula actually help or subside even postpartum depression?
Absolutely.
That comes into play.
100%.
Because I think that's a giant situation that a lot of people don't talk about is postpartum depression. Because I've heard, I'm not an expert on this, that it can become so bad that you can almost be semi-psychotic.
Absolutely.
Because of the situation of postpartum depression.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
There's actually a thing called postpartum psychosis.
Yes.
And I've experienced clients going through this where they don't know that they've had a baby.
Exactly.
And they don't even realize what's going on in their own bodies.
Or even at times where they don't even want to be around the baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing about postpartum depression is that when I have it, my partner has a 50% chance of having it as well.
Yeah.
So when you've got two people that have just had a baby, you can both be going through postpartum depression, right?
Yeah.
And so that can lead to interpersonal violence, right? PTSD, depression, eating disorders, okay, sleeping disorders. And then you've got a baby who is living in an environment where two people are unhealthy.
Very true.
Right? So physical violence, emotional violence, but not even just that, just the depression itself, baby blues, exhaustion, all those things add up.
Especially exhaustion.
Especially
exhausted.
Because we know you're not sleeping,
True.
right? But that doula can come in and say, you go lay down, I've got the baby.
Especially if like she's a single mother.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Where she doesn't have that full support as she should.
Right.
As real fathers should, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
After the child is born, having a father there definitely could help with the situation. But even single mothers, I think a doula would definitely come into play 10 times fold.
Big time.
Yeah, no, definitely. Kelli, I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I love what you're working with. I think it's amazing. It definitely should be celebrated. Please, by all means, link me up with somebody out in Africa. So I would definitely like to make a donation to them kids. And I'm saying it publicly too, because I feel like that needs to be done because every kid should enjoy some type of Christmas situation or sweets or anything as possible. So God bless them. God bless Uganda. God bless everybody from watching. Kelli, you're amazing.
Thank
I mean
you
that
so
shit.
much.
You're amazing as hell. And keep doing what you're doing because it's amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, definitely. And I can't wait to see the progression of the situation. So
I'll keep you updated.
No, definitely. No, thank you very much. You just checked out Concrete Conversations. God bless everybody out there. I hope everybody has a beautiful day. Thank you very much. And I'll see y'all soon. We out here like we stole something. I got 1,000 stories I can tell you, but 1,000,000 stories I cannot. These are the stories that I can tell you from the people that made it out. Real stories, real people, real talk. Concrete Conversation.